Hello everyone, myself I am Marlene Joyce, currently working as an assistant professor in the Gyan Foundation for Science, Technology and Research. I am here to teach you basics of computers and internet. As you all learned about the introduction to computers, generations of computer and importance of computers, applications of computers in the previous session, in today's class we are going to learn about the parts of a computer. As you all know that parts of a computer is nothing but whenever you are talking about the parts of a computer, you are learning about how you are taking the input and how the computer processes that input and gives the output. So, we will start with the session. The basic thing in the parts of a computer system is computer system consists of four parts: hardware, software, data and user. If you are very much familiar with this terminologies, you will understand what and all includes under hardware and what and all includes under software and what exactly is data and what exactly is user. So, we will see one by one. First two parts of a computer is hardware and software. Every time we will come across a terminologies hardware and software. We are very much confused with this terminologies, right? So, we will be very familiar with this terminologies in today's class. First one, we are saying hardware. What is the meaning of a hardware means? First point it is written mechanical devices in the computer. What is mechanical devices in the computer? Whenever we are saying or whenever we are using a term mechanical, it means we are physically present and working on it. For example, if you consider a real-time example, in that real-time example, if a farmer is there and farmer is going to the farm and working in the farm, then in order to address that farmer, how we will address? The farmer is mechanically going into the farm and working on the farm, right? That means physically he is present in the farm. Similarly, hardware is called as an mechanical device in the computer. Next one, anything that can be touched. For example, if you consider, if you open your mobile phone, in the mobile phone you will be having plenty of apps, right? Can you able to touch the program or else software inside your mobile phone? Obviously no, right? So obviously your mobile phone itself will be called as an hardware because you can feel the presence of your mobile phone. Anything you can able to touch and feel the presence of it, then we are saying it as an hardware. Next one, whenever the hardware gets damaged, it is replaced with the new one. So, here it is written as replaced. Replaced is nothing but, for example, you are having this pen. So, I can able to feel and touch this pen. So, whenever this pen is not working, obviously the same pen will be replaced instead of this pen. So, this is called as an hardware because with the help of this pen I am interacting on the board. Yes or no? Yes, right. Next one, software. So, whenever you are learning about the software, you will learn much in detail in the coming units, but learn about the basic definition of a software. What is the meaning of a software means? The software is always associated with a terminology called as instructions. The software is always associated with the terminology called as instructions. So, everyone knows what is the meaning of instruction. So, what is the meaning of instruction? For example, if you go to a classroom, so whenever you go to a classroom, obviously your teacher will make you to open your class notes or your teacher will instruct you to do some assignments, right? That means your teacher is guiding you to do some work. So similarly, software is which we cannot feel and touch like hardware. Here only software purpose is it will instruct the hardware, how to proceed with the work. So here the basic definition, it tells the computer what to do, or else you can replace this word computer with, you can replace it with hardware. It tells the hardware what to perform. So software is also called as program. Next one, if at all the hardware gets damaged, obviously we are replacing with the new one. That means you are completely removing this one and you are bringing the other one, right? So in case of software, here software is not physically present. So you are just modifying or making changes in a program. That is called as an reinstallation. That means you are making modifications instead of changing. I hope you got the difference between hardware and software. Next one. Next important part of a computer is data. What is the meaning of a data? Obviously, in the previous session, in the first session itself, we learned about what is the meaning of a data and difference between data and information. So, I am not going much in detail. Here, data is nothing but collection of raw facts. For your reference sake, for your revision sake, I am telling you in example 1, 2, 3, 4, comma A, B, C. So this is called as an data because here you are having a collection of numbers and ABC, nothing but alphabets you are having. If at all I am saying roll number, name, if at all I am writing in this way, then obviously it is called as an information, right? That means only whenever you are collecting any of the raw facts. Raw facts can be figures, numbers and alphabets. Figures, numbers and alphabets. Next one, user. Obviously, user is nothing but the person who is sitting in front of the computer and interacting with the computer will be called as an user. So, that is in one perspective. In second perspective, user can also be called as, whenever you are sharing some data to the other person, the person who is on the other side is also called as an user. So, those are the basic parts of a computer. Now, have you ever wondered the terminology called as an device? Because in our day-to-day life, we will always say it is a mobile device, it is a electronic device, it is a computer device. That means whatever is handy for us or whatever we are using in our day-to-day life with the computer, we are coming across a terminology called as an device. Yes or no? So, what is the need of a device? For example, if you want to communicate with the others, obviously you need a language to communicate, right? So, similarly, that means language acts as a mediator between you and other person. Similarly, this device acts as a mediator. Similarly, this device acts as a mediator. How it acts as a mediator means, so for example, if you consider you are having a computer with you. So, you want the computer to perform some calculation or else you want to draw some pictures in the paint. So, I hope so everyone knows how to draw pictures in a paint, right? So, in case of explaining very detail about this device until and unless you turn on your computer and click on your keyboard and navigate with your mouse, you cannot draw any picture on the monitor. Yes or no? Obviously, whatever you are drawing, so it should be visible on the monitor. That means the device always acts only for the device always act only for input and output. So what is this input and output means? Either we can give input or else we can take output from the computer. So here the device can be defined as components or peripherals. So this is very important in the basics of computers. The device terminology should be coined as either components or else peripherals. What is this peripherals or devices or components means? It is used to enter the data and get the desired result. That means here we are not doing any kind of processing, only for giving input and taking the output. So here in a very technical way, if you understand computer peripherals, so computer peripherals always connects to the computer. But there is one saying, so if at all the computer peripheral is not present, still the computer can able to work, but it won't display the output. So that is the thing you have to keep it in mind. Next one, a peripheral is not a core device of a computer. What is the meaning of this core device of a computer means? Core device is a terminology used to refer the device which does not process. Here it is not a core device, the device which used to process. So here peripheral is only for input and output. In middle you are having processing, right? So whatever processing will be done, that will be done without help of this peripherals. Next one, types of peripherals. The peripherals are classified into three types. One is input devices, output devices, storage devices. So you are familiar with input, output and storage, right? So we will see in detail about the functioning of all the three devices. First one, what is the meaning of an input device? Obviously, everyone, whenever we want to perform any kind of work with the computer, we need an input device called as a keyboard or else a mouse. Yes or no? That means in order to give a task to the computer, we need an input device. So this input device always lets you to communicate with a computer. Communicating with a computer means nothing but interacting with a computer. Next one, it is an electromechanical device that to be used to enter the data and instructions. You already know the difference between data and instruction. So input devices always assign task in the form of data or else an instruction we are saying. Inputs are always considered as an signals or data received by the system. So here system is nothing but your computer is called as an system, right? So what is the basic functionality of input devices? Only to interact with or else send the data whatever we are having to the computer. Now we will see in detail about the working of all the input devices. In this screen you can able to see number of input devices. So I will give a 1 second time, you can have a glance. Almost all the input devices are known to you, right? So check out. First one, keyboard, mouse, graphic tablet, touch screen, barcode reader, image scanner, microphone, webcam, game controller, light pen. I think so. Maybe keyboard, touch screen, mouse, image scanner, microphone and webcam. Almost everyone uses in their day-to-day life when compared to rest of all other input devices. Now we will learn about each input device one by one. First we will see the functionality of keyboard. Almost everyone in their day-to-day life or everyone who is having a computer always interact with the computer with the help of a keyboard. At least if you may not work with the keyboard, but at least you would have seen this keyboard at least one time in your lifetime, right? So keyboard basic functionality is keyboard controller detects a key press. Keyboard controller detects a key press. What is the meaning of keyboard controller detects a key press means? For example, you are having a keyboard. You are having a keyboard and A, B, C and D. So you are having keys A, B, C, D, right? That means whenever the user is touching on A, obviously that key will be allotted to the processing or the key will be worked on your computer, not on the keyboard. That is what the meaning. Keyboard controller detects a key press. Each and every key will have a specific functionality. So the specific functionality will be notified only when the user presses on the specific key, right? Next one, keyboard was invented by a person called as Christopher Lantham Scholes. So he is the person who has invented this keyboard. Next one, when you see the layout is nothing but whenever you are visualizing something. So the outline will be called as an layout. That means whatever you can able to see will be called as an layout. So whenever you are seeing on the keyboard, obviously you can see multiple keys, right? So here we have said in the first point, keyboard controller detects a key press, right? So obviously each and every key is having specific functionality. So we will learn what and all are the types of the keys in a keyboard and what type of functionality is holded in the particular key. Next one, if you want to use the keyboard, until and unless you don't know how to operate a particular device, obviously it will be difficult for you to access that device, right? So similarly, until and unless a person is having a knowledge on the keyboard, then only he can able to work. So the skill that is used for working with the keyboard is called as keyboarding. The skill that is used for working with keyboard is called as an keyboarding. So it is an input device, and now we are going to see about the types of a keyboard. Types of keys. First type of key in keyboard is cursor movement key. So the cursor movement key is used for moving your cursor. So you may get the doubt, what is the meaning of a cursor, right? So whenever I am sitting in front of my system and writing anything, either you can see your cursor in arrow shape or else blinking, right? Some line you can able to see. So this two will be called as an cursor, right? So in order to move this cursor either upward or else downward or else leftward or else rightward, obviously you need a key called as an cursor movement keys. So cursor movement keys are always represented with 4 directions: upward, downward, leftward and rightward. Right. These 4 keys together called as cursor movement keys. Next one, special purpose keys. What is the meaning of special purpose keys is, it is only used for specific function. It is only used for specific function. That means you won't take help of other keys in order to access this particular keys. Right. That means you won't make use of a combinations. You won't make use of a combinations whenever you are making use of special purpose key. What is the meaning of combination? For example, if you want to copy anything, obviously you need to press on Control and then you need to press on C. Control plus C, right? Here you are making use of a combination in order to have a functionality of copying, right? But in case of special purpose key, it is used for specific function. That means only for inserting, deleting and print screen. Either to insert or to delete, or else print screen is used for taking the screenshot. So special purpose never works with the combination. It works only for special functions. Next one is modifier keys. What is the meaning of modifier keys means? The combinations which we discuss will be called as an modifier keys. This modifier keys never work. This modifier keys never work only with pressing one key. It will always work by taking the conjunction. Conjunction is nothing but combination, like Alt plus A. It is used for making the capital letters. So similarly, instead of Alt, you can use Shift. Right, Shift plus A. That means this keys, alternative keys, shift keys and control keys never work only by themselves. It always take the help of an alphabet or other key for its functionality. Next type of key is alphanumeric key. What is the meaning of alphanumeric? So, in a mathematics, everyone must have heard about alphanumeric, right? That means you are combining both alphabets as well the numbers. So, all the alphabets A to Z and numericals from 0 to 9 and punctuation mark will be called as an alphanumeric keys. Next one, numeric keys means, in the next slide we are going to see the slide. So, numeric keys is nothing but it is used for only performing calculation. So, when you take the layout of your keyboard, on the top you can able to see the numbers, as well at the side also you can able to see the numbers, right? So, top numbers are called as alphanumeric, side numbers are called as numeric keys. Next one is functional keys. So, same like previous one, so same like special purpose key, here also you are having functional keys. So, functional keys are from F1 to F12. So, this functional keys, each key holds specific function. If you check out this layout, so you have learned 6 type of keys in a keyboard, right? So, obviously you will try to understand. For a glance, whenever you are seeing this layout, all these keys will be called as alphanumeric keys, right? This one is called as an cursor movement keys. So, the function F1 to F12 are called as functional keys. So what are called as special purpose keys? Special purpose keys are nothing but insert, home, page up, page down, delete and end. Rest of all keys you can identify from this layout. Next type of input device is mouse. So mouse was invented by Douglas Engelbart. Douglas Engelbart is the person who introduced this mouse in the year 1960, right? Obviously everyone knows mouse is used for making the position properly, right? So it is used for controlling the positions of the cursor. It is used for controlling the positions of a cursor. It is also called as pointing device. So what is the meaning of pointing device? Here we have already seen your cursor will be either an arrow or else one particular line will be blinking, right? So in order to move the cursor or in order to move the text, we are making use of a device called as pointing device or mouse. The three simple techniques to use the mouse is clicking, double clicking and dragging. Clicking means in order to place your cursor in one particular position, we will click. So on your mouse you will place your hand, right? So your left side will be used for clicking in order to place the position of a cursor. Double clicking means, for example, I have written mouse was invented. I am taking this particular text, right? So select this text by using double clicking. Select this text by using double click and then change the color of this text from white to red color. That means in order to apply any kind of functionality or any kind of formatting on that particular text, we are using double clicking. Next one is dragging. So dragging means if I want to move this image from here, from the bottom to top, obviously I will click on the mouse and I will drag it. Drag it is nothing but I will move to the upwards. That is the difference between clicking, double clicking and dragging. Next one, types of mouses. There are three types of mouses. So first type is mechanical mouse, optical mouse, infrared frequency cordless mouse. You may come across many number of types of mouses, but these are the basic mouses which you will officially use. First one, mechanical mouse. Obviously you might have known about all these types of mouses. Mechanical mouse means, have you seen a mouse which will have a ball underneath the mouse? So what is the functionality of the ball underneath the mouse means? It is used for changing the direction as well changing the speed. That means whenever you are moving the mouse towards the leftwards, it will move left. The text will move leftwards, or else to rightwards, it will move to the rightwards. That is mechanical mouse. Next one is optical mouse. Optical mouse is nothing but which will be worked based upon the LEDs, right? So instead of that ball functionality, this light will act as an source for moving or changing the speed. Last one is infrared frequency cordless mouse. What is this infrared frequency cordless mouse is? It is also called as wireless mouse. So how this wireless mouse will work means, with the help of either a Bluetooth or else radio frequency or else infrared radio waves. With the help of this three, this mouse will act. That means we won't be having wire in order to access the content in the screen. Next one, interacting with the mouse. So we are not going to discuss in detail because you are familiar with the terminologies called as clicking, dragging and dropping. So in a brief, clicking means you are selecting an object. Next one, dropping means you are releasing an object. That means you are removing your finger from the left click. Next one is right click activates the shortcut menu. What is the meaning of a shortcut menu means? If you go to empty screen and you simply right click on the mouse. So when you simply right click on the mouse, on the screen you can able to see a list called as copy, paste and then folder and so on, right. So in order to activate the shortcuts, you will right click. So in order to give the shortcut menu, we are right clicking. Next one, touchpad. Next input device is touchpad. So this touchpad you can regularly see in your laptops. Almost everyone might be having the laptop, right. So you are having a touchpad. Touchpad is nothing but an empty space that is given at the bottom of the laptop will be called as a touchpad, right. So what is the need of this touchpad means? It is a stationary pointing device. Stationary pointing device means instead of having mouse, simply we are making use of this touchpad. So touchpad is also called as small plastic rectangle and these touchpads are used for pointing any of the devices in the computer or for selecting or else clicking or double clicking, right. So this where exactly these touchpads can be seen means either in ATM machines, retail point of sale, navigation system, medical monitors. So for example, if you consider car navigation system, so in car navigation system, whenever you want to select the route, source and destination from where to where you have to go, obviously you can touch on the screen and adjust your location, right. Similarly, medical monitoring means, so whenever the person is taking the ECG, that will be displayed on the monitor, yes or no. So this can also be managed with the help of an touchpad we are saying. Next one is track point. So this track point is nothing but same like a cursor, same like a mouse. Here a simple button is there, so that button is used for a simple oval red color spotted button is there, that is used for either moving the joystick or else adjusting the positions. So you will learn about this joysticks. So in order to make you understand very clearly, track point is nothing but whenever you are playing a video games, so obviously to your laptops a small button kind of will be given in order to move the position of a car or to increase the speed of a car or to either move the car to left side or right side, we will make use of this track points. Track point is nothing but in order to adjust the position or else speed of your video games in your computer. Next one is pen based inputs. Here you come across two acronyms, right. One is PCs, next one is PDAs. So what is PCs? Personal computers. Next one PDS means personal digital assistants. So if you open the Samsung previous versions, for each and every Samsung mobile you will be allotted with a one stylus, nothing but a pen kind of. In order to write the text on your screen in mobile phone, you will make use of a stylus, right. So that stylus will be called as an pen based input, which is used for writing the data. So handwriting recognition is also possible with the help of this pen based input. There are different types of pen based inputs. Next one is touch screens. So whenever you are seeing this touch screen, obviously the first thing that comes into your mind is ATM machine, right? So in ATM machine, without using this trackball or tracking point or else this cursor, you are making use of a touch screen. That means you are interacting directly with the help of or directly on the monitor itself without taking the help of a cursor or else mouse or else trackball or any external devices. So touch screen, how it will detects the functionality means with the sense of a human, right? So sensors will be adjusted on the monitor in order to recognize the touch of a human. So usually presents a menu to the user. What is the functionality of this touch screen? In case of menu to the user means it will give a list to the user. Next one is speech recognition system. So everyone knows about the speech recognition system, right? So in this speech recognition system, this mic itself will be called as a speech recognition system. That means whenever I am standing in front of the mic, obviously my mic, whatever I am speaking or my voice should be converted into a other format where the computer need to be understand, right? So speech recognition system, it always recognize the voices and translate it into the text using speech recognition system. That means it captures the audio from the person and it will convert into a text we are saying. So what is the speech recognition software? Speech recognition software means whenever it is converting the voice into a text, obviously it gathers the sound, right? Whenever it is gathering the sound, there might be some disturbances, there might be some disturbance of air or something, right? So the speech recognition software will convert into text by removing all the extra noises. Next one, speech recognition is equipped with two following components: computer system with sound card and speech recognition software. So in a very simple way, if you want to understand, whenever I am talking over the phone, obviously if the voice need to be converted into the text, there should not be any disturbances while converting, right? So in order to support such kind of removing noises, we are using speech recognition system.